Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So for today we are going to do a revisit on one of the books that I have reviewed before, but I have been feeling a bit wishy-washy, and this video will definitely make up my mind about what I actually think about the book. So in this video we will be talking about The Accidental Malay by Karina Robles Bahrin again. So why do I decide to revisit this? Maybe because I have just enough spite in me to just, dive deep on what I actually think. I think I have gone on excessive length on what I actually felt about The Accidental Malay. And then this come to my knowledge is that Karina Robles Bahrin, the author, has been listed as Forbes 50 over 50. Not that I'm not proud that a fellow Malaysian is in that list. I apologize in advance if I'm gonna sound like a hater. Trust me, it's not my intention. But if she's going to be on that list, I just don't think The Accidental Malay should be the reason for that. Not that I'm not proud that a fellow Malaysian is in that list. If anything, super proud, and especially that she is a Malay Muslim woman. But the problem is that she became part of that list because of The Accidental Malay, because of her debut that won the Epigram Prize Award. And while it is a great thing that she got the prize, and I do think that The Accidental Malay is a good book, but unfortunately, for me, it doesn't count for you to win the epigram. That's number one, because it was brought to my attention by a fellow Malaysian booktuber that the epigram tends to pick the edgiest one, and I was thinking, shouldn't that prize be about quality? And while this book does have a lot of potential and the premise is very compelling, I just don't think that it gives the issue that it's put on the table the respect that it deserves. It is certainly a conversation starter, but does it really deserves to be on that list when we have so many humanitarians, when female politicians that actually does work for the people, and academicians that really truly deserve to be on that list. I'm just saying that if she's going to be on the list, I wish that it could be for some other reason. Another reason why I want to make this video is that on late February, I actually led an online discussion on this book with 3 other members of my book discussion group. And so the reason why I initiated discussion in the first place was because I genuinely want to know if I'm wrong. I genuinely want to know if I'm being overly sensitive, if I'm just being a hater. Maybe I have internalized racism in me. Maybe I just can't stand to see the Chinese character better than Malay characters or something. Maybe I just want Malay superiority whatsoever. As it turns out, I'm not alone in my judgment, apparently. 3 out of 4 members of the discussion, myself included, agree with my points in the first video. It was actually quite fruitful, and the other 2 group members, they bring to attention things that I did not even notice before. I just accepted it as part of the book, and I was like, oh yeah. So if you want to know what The Accidental Malay is about, feel free to go to my previous video on this book, and when you're ready, you can come back to this video. I would like to put an early disclaimer though, that I know my opinion will definitely be controversial. This also applies to my previous video. My problem is directly linked to the ignorant representations on Malay Muslims specifically. As a Malay Muslim myself, I think I have every right to say my opinion on how fiction is portraying my people. I have nothing against justice or equality amongst races. For me, that's should be the way it is. As a Malay Muslim who tries to be the best person that I can be, I honestly, when I read it, I feel like shit. And then someone's gonna say oh, then you shouldn't be because this is not you. Well, here's the thing about the depiction in the book. The depiction was very stereotypical. And unfortunately for this book, it was written by a Malay woman, which I thought should know better. Well, I remembered during the event at Lit Books that she says like the book is not her. It might not be you, but it is definitely an extension of you, and that I cannot help but think that it is written from a place of superiority. You're just trying to say like, look, I'm writing about this book, I'm criticizing about the Malays. It makes me feel like, basically it's just trashy behavior from trashy people. But the book itself just feels as if like you're just saying that Malay people equates trashy, because every single Malay character in the book is trashy. There's no layers to them. I don't know if I mentioned this in the previous video, but all I'm asking is just one Malay character. Just one Malay character that reflects most of us normal people. So during the discussion, I actually genuinely wanted a non-Malay perspective on this. So we couldn't get much, apparently. In total, there's like 4 of us, myself included. 1 Indian member, 1 other Malay member aside from me, and another Chinese member who sadly left in the middle of our discussion. More about that, by the way. Initially, I wanted to record the session and share it with you guys, but then I forgot, and then I realized maybe this is a good thing, because the discussion got really weird at some point. The discussion actually also looks into the technical aspects of the book, and that we reach a consensus that Jasmine is just not very good of a character. It is surprising that she's 40 and she's still a bit childish. Here's the thing. I remembered like in the event, like says like, oh wait, people think that when you're 40 you're supposed to be like get your life together, but no, when you're 40 you can also be a mess. But Jasmine is not actually a mess, you know? I mean, like, she's rich and like she's got power, she's got position and everything. She's just entitled. Another thing that I feel angry about this book is how they justify Jasmine's entitlement. One aspect of her entitlement is her affair with her Malay boyfriend. It's like there's no remorse there. She doesn't feel like, oh, I'm broaching on someone else's marriage, on another woman's man. No, she doesn't feel any remorse. She doesn't feel any care for it. And the sad thing about the story is that they're trying to justify it by making his wife also has an affair, making Jasmine feel like, well, she's also sucks. I guess like it's not wrong for me to have an affair with her husband. Like, girl, just because the wife is having an affair with someone else does not make you not a mistress. You're still a mistress, despite all those things about women empowerment, equality, yada yada yada, and yet you're still trying to justify something that sets the movement back. Really? Okay. Another thing that most of us agree on, except for one, is that this book tries to tackle a lot of issues at once, that it's not even feasible. If you guys buy or read a lot of epigram books, you'll notice that they're like about the same thickness. So I'm assuming that they have a word limit and that you cannot cross that threshold, because I've never seen any of epigram books that are thicker than that. The thing is, right now, when you have a book that size and you're trying to tackle more issue, you're trying to bite off more than you can chew, you just ended up brushing past the issue instead of respectfully handling it. If anything, if you want to tackle that much issue, this book should have been thicker so that each issue can be properly handled. It has a lot of things like pregnancy, religion, womanhood, inheritance lah. May 13th as well, but did not do any respect to it. LGBT. It feels a bit superficial. I don't know about the LGBT community. In this book, it depicts like Jasmine's gay cousin, or what's his name, I don't remember. He hasn't come out yet to his family. You're gonna solve the issue by saying, oh yeah, he has a white boyfriend and that the family is just going to love him. Really? I don't think sexuality issue can be solved by white worshipping. I don't know, it just weird for me. One weird thing about the online discussion was that originally there's 4 of us. And then this one Chinese guy, he left quite early. And I believe that he left early, either he's mad or he highly disagrees with us. Here's the thing about online discussion, okay? You will get hurt. But the goal of the online discussion is not for you to be proven right or for everyone to be proven wrong. It's for you to reach a consensus, for you to gain more understanding of the book. That's the reason why I want to make this discussion, because I have a confusion and I want people to clarify it to me. And I honestly want to come out of this discussion not hating this book as much, but I was surprised that I came out of discussion hating this book even more, because apparently the other two members, one Indian woman and another Malay woman, also agrees with me. And I was like, okay, I do want to get a Chinese perspective on this. But I actually felt bad because I wish that he doesn't leave early, because there is some weird energy in that discussion, honestly. Number one, he did not turn on his camera, which I'm fine with, but he also did not even turn on his mic. I don't remember if there's a problem with his microphone or if he's just purposefully don't want to interact with us directly, which also contributes to probably any miscommunication or whatever it is. But it was weird. There's a point where we talked about how the representation of the Malays in the book was, it felt wrong, and it really felt very stereotypical. And then I tried to explain, and then there was a point I remember distinctively, because it seems as if he was being sarcastic. He's like, so conservative Muslims are more interesting, ha 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 ha. And I'm like, what does that mean? I mean, just because you put ha 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 does not mean that I can't tell the sarcastic tone in your voice. It is clear to me that he already has a preconceived notion. It's a shame that I couldn't get a proper Chinese POV from this. But it doesn't matter, because Goodreads exists. And I read a lot of reviews from Chinese users on Goodreads, and I'm like, it just proves what I think initially of this book. The thing about this book is how it reinforces ignorance on the Malay society. Not only that, but it also depicts Malays as two stereotypical extremes. A Malay or Malay Muslim can only be two things. Either we secretly hate our religion, but we pretended to love it in public eye, or we love it so much that we're toxic to other people. And I just feel like that's a very harmful stereotype, because we got layers and we have spectrums and diversity and different level of religiosity, if that's even a word, I don't know. This book feels wrong to me. And now it is especially scary because her being in Forbes 50 over 50 is just basically proving people right, and she will be seen as the champion. Oh my god, you were exposing on what it's like to be a Malay, and that since you're a Malay, we're gonna believe you. And I know that there are also other reviewers on Goodreads that agrees with me. I think you can read this one review by Anna Fafrina, which is very detailed and very interesting. You can read the review yourself, but what I'm interested in is that how I mentioned before, how this book reinforces ignorance. There's a comment under review that is probably by non-Muslim. I don't know whether it's Chinese or Indian, I'm not sure. So the comment says, I think the religion and how the culture of our ancestor being left just because of religion is true. And it's also true how Islam is blocking you from having other options. Like it or not, you can't even listen to music according to Islam. But regardless, I do agree with the blatant bad representation of Malay Muslims. I meet a lot of nice Malay Muslims in my life, and it's super not cool to just do the stereotypical corruption Malays. Like, okay, this is something basic from Bangsa would love. And then this person replies, I'm sorry, but your according to Islam comment is honestly quite ignorant. That ruling of not being able to listen to music isn't accepted by most Muslims nor many well-known historic and contemporary scholar things are never ever that black and white in Islam. Nuance exists, people. Yes, that's true. Intentions matter above all else, and the fact that different schools of thought, matahib, interpretations are not only encouraged to exist but also considered necessary says a lot. There are hadith about how you should make religion easy for yourself, stories of Sahaba lamenting how people complicate it. So I think there's a lack of education about its nuances on your part. Perhaps surface level assessments of faith such as this cause such a wide acceptance of books of this sort. This is why I'm afraid of this book, because this book is basically telling people, especially people who simply have surface level knowledge of Islam and just probably know the worst kind of Malays out there. This book just simply reinforces whatever surface level knowledge that they have, or like whatever stereotypes that they encounter without even realizing that, hey, guess what? We have complexity and nuance, people, and different spectrums of iman and different spectrums and different levels of faith. And there are some Muslims who wear, like tudong labo, the jubas and everything, and well, they're not the best people in the world. And there are Muslims who don't even wear the hijab, who probably wear miniskirts and everything, but they pray 5 times a day. So really, I don't know. Reading this comment and realizing that people who pick up this book expect it to be blown away are like going to be disappointed. Depends on how you look at it. You're going to be pleased maybe because you have your stereotype look on a Malays are reinforced because it's written by a Malay again. And then people who are expecting some nuanced interpretation of a situation that is very complicated realize that, yeah, I'm being duped. Well, I think great for her to gain success. I just think that it shouldn't be at the cost of other people's misrepresentation. If she's gonna write any more about Malay people, I don't know, maybe, I hope not, If you're just gonna write from a place of ignorance, I think that's enough. Before I end this video, I just would like to suggest to you that if you want to find a story about May 13th and also a nuanced depiction of May 13th, I would rather suggest you read Hannah Al-Kaf's The Weight of Our Skies. You're gonna have much more fun there. It's a much more nuanced depiction and it's also very well written as well. And if you want a nuanced representation of a relationship between a Malay girl and a Chinese boy, might I suggest just watch Yasmin Ahmad Sepit. Basically just watch Yasmin Ahmad's movies in general. And she has a better portrayal of Muslims there and a much more complex depiction of Malays. And of course, interracial relationships. Enjoy! So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.